We're going to go over the overview and give you a little U.S. Army Backpack Project Closeout Plan. This is presented by Julian, the project manager. Okay, to get started with our introduction here, we're going to go over the overview and give you a little background on the project. We're going to go over how to ensure closeout success, and then we're going to go over checklist items, project closeout, client closeout, organizational closeout, subcontractor closeout, final risk assessment, final report, and team closeout. And then we're going to recap on all of it and take any questions that you have in our summary section. Okay, for our overview, this project is the U.S. Army. This will be supporting U.S. Ground Forces and Special Operations is the entities that this backpack is designed for. Our project is a new backpack, and in this new backpack, they will have a built-in refrigeration pouch and a radio module built into this backpack. Ensuring closeout success. To ensure closeout success, the project manager needs to perform a multi-phase closeout. This means that the closeout in phases rather than all at once. It ensures that the work is done in any department before it has closed to ensure that they have fulfilled the requirements of the project and met all the deliverables in their area. This allows for lessons learned to be reviewed in each step of the process and ensure future success on other projects. The key to any project closeout is client satisfaction. And did we meet their needs? Did the product hit their expectations? Project closeout. This is done by the project manager, and it ensures project completion. The project manager in this phase ensures that the project has been successfully completed and deliverables in each area has been done. And this is done to make sure that we are in accordance with that original contract and amendments to that, any amendments to be in that contract with the customer. Client closeout. In this phase, the project manager is to ensure the client satisfaction with the product and ensure that they accept all the work that has been done, and it is their time to give feedback on the project and give their thoughts and ideas on how to do it. With the U.S. Army project, we're looking at continuation contracts later down the road that are based off of this original backpack contract. So in this step, we're looking for feedback that they can give us as to, with the initial or second delivery, those troops may already be using those backpacks. They can give us valuable feedback that we can use at that later time when we decide to go forth with a secondary contract. Organizational closeout is the part where we would basically release any rented equipment that we may have needed for this project, any temporary employees that we may be hired to do a specialized part to this project, or may have just been laborers. And at this point in time, any cleaning of the facility, getting ready to turn it over project, if there was areas that were just for this project, it's time to clean those areas up and get them prepared for the next that we have coming up. And at this point in time, we're going to pay off any of the invoices that we have left to ensure that our financial aspect of this project is getting wrapped up and closed up. And with the rented equipment, we're going to look for discrepancies and any issues that may come with that. Subcontractor closeout. So in this phase, we are going to verify that the subcontract agreements are at the point of completion, that we received everything we needed to receive. And then we're going to verify those quality standards and make sure that they actually lived up to everything that was within that contract. And then we are going to make our final payments to them and make sure that we are cleared financially with the subcontractors on this contract. The next phase in closeout would be the risk assessment. In the final risk assessment, we're going to properly conduct a final risk assessment at this time. And in that, we are going to identify any risks that could be attached to this project and ensure that we know the proper means to mitigate these risks. Some of these possible risks could be risk with legality issues, like if there was to be a recall type of situation on a radio module or a refrigeration module that wasn't caught in the testing phases of this product, that maybe a fire started and it could have lead to loss of life, something like that, that could come back on us as a legal issue. And we have cash flow risks with different things that may happen along the project way, so we need to ensure that we know how we're going to mitigate this and other risks that may be involved at this time that may come out. So that is the point in this phase of the closeout process. Next phase is to create the final report. In this final report, you're going to want to include an outline of each of the previous steps, and then we're going to provide insight into the stages of the process, ensuring that all areas of the job are completed, and list out any problems that have been identified during the project. And when you do this, if you can, offer suggestions for improvement for future projects. The point in the final report is so we know how this project went, ensure everything's done with this project, but then also to look into the future and see the different ways that we can potentially change process to make it a little bit smoother if we have the same project as we most likely with the U.S. Army backpack project. Okay, the last thing we need to do is close out our team. During this, we are going to go over the lessons learned and get our future takeaways to be covering all those final checks items, like double checking if the deliverables were accepted by the client, which was done earlier, but we're doing it within our team setting, this type of stuff. So we evaluate the project on performance and goals achieved. Did we stick within our budget on this, or were we above, were we under our budget? Did we meet our deadlines and milestones along the way? If not, what were the problems that came from that, and how did we end up mitigating those so we can do that in future if we have a project like this or things with similar risks that we may need to find mitigation ways for? So we also need to ensure that the knowledge built from this project, we have a record of. So we need to know, has this all been archived in some point and way? Did it document what resources we use, where we use them from to complete this project? And then we also need to ensure that we're writing down those lessons learned and archiving that for future use on this project and other projects. And also, all the documentation that we use on this, we need to make sure it's not going in a trash can and it's actually going to be safe. Because especially with this project, it's something that has potential to be a repeat project for our company. So we're going to want to make sure that we're archiving all of that. And then we're going to want to, after everything is done and we can ensure that we're closing our team out, we want to make sure we show our team the appreciation, a job well done, and make sure that they know that we do appreciate them within the project. So they're more willing to work on other projects with us and be good team players in the future. And then we're going to release the team after we have done all of that and the project will be officially closed out. All right, to summarize, we went over our overview and what we were basically doing with this project. And then went over how to ensure closeout success in this project. And then we went over our checklist items, that project closeout, the client closeout, organizational closeout, subcontractor closeout, the final risk assessment, that final report that needs to be made, and then lastly, our team closeout. And that should pretty much wrap it up for this project and how we are going to get it all closed out and done. Any questions?